Try and stop me if you want. Go for it. I could use a laugh.
Question is, do you have enough luck remaining to escape with your life?
You'll definitely walk out of this gate alive.
Considering your reaction, I suppose you aren't aware?
That makes 3 times.
You cannot hide from me!
My regular soldiers won't cut it. I need something more powerful.
Alex, thank you so much, and welcome to the For Your Reference podcast.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
I'm very excited to chop it up, all things solo leveling. We're very big fans of solo leveling. I'm also low-key a fan of Rent a Girlfriend and Romantic Killer, but I know we probably don't have time to get into that, as well as Demon Slayer, obviously, as well. But I first off just want to start and hold this moment and say congratulations. In all of our Weeby circles, everyone's talking about solo leveling. So congratulations on season
Thank
1
you.
and also for the film coming up.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see it in theaters. I haven't gotten to do that yet, but I'm super looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time, that's for sure. My partner and I, OT, learned in these weeby anime streets. So it was fun to watch the dub as well as the sub version of Solo Leveling. Yourself and Taito bring such vibrancy to Junu's character, but also personality-wise, very different. I would love to hear a little bit about, I guess, the process on, I guess, a nod to Taito's performance in the Japanese version, as well as what only you can bring to the English dub version.
I think Taito Bansan, he did an amazing job portraying the character and definitely set up a groundwork for us because he showed us how crazy we're allowed to go with this show, and what he showed us was that we didn't have to hold anything back. And I'm super grateful for that bar that he set because from that we can build upon it, and we can give it something that honors his performance but also gives it our own spin to it. And so I was super excited to be a part of this new endeavor to take on this character, and I feel that something that makes us unique in um, how we approach this is that we wanted to take a very naturalistic approach because of the setting. It almost feels like it could be like the setting for a movie or like a live action drama, kind of that blends the real life struggles of somebody who's trying to get by versus a fantastical world that's also taking place in our world. And so we wanted to go after a very grounded and natural take. Um, and yeah, it was really cool to get to implement that because that means that I get to put a lot of myself and my own mannerisms and my own attitude and my own vocabulary into this character because we wanted to make him a very grounded, realistic guy. So,
Yeah, and a lot of brooding as well.
a
There's
lot, a
there's
lot of
some
brooding.
delicious brooding going on with Jinu's character. Jinu in particular goes through a very emotional journey, which imagine would be very satisfying from your point of view. There's a lot of highs, but there's also a lot of lows in regards to Jinu's character. Also in regards to like all of the different performances that you've done in your career as well. From Zenitsu, and congrats to Batman, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
Um, what is it like being able to, I guess, channel those sorts of the trajectory and the character arcs that we see Jinu from the start, and he's a very different man by the end of season 1. What's it like going through the process of his emotional journey?
I think I've had a really unique privilege of being somebody who gets to play characters that have multiple sides to them.
Mhm.
And that's something I've always found fascinating as an actor and something I've always wanted to do. And so for me, it was to get this opportunity, I wanted to inject a lot of my own history into the character. So, my voice didn't always sound like this, so for the character, I wanted him to have a similar journey to mine.
Mhm.
When he was younger or before he got his power up, it's kind of how I sounded when I started out my career. So it's a much lighter voice, a more naive
Shout outs to
sound.
you putting in the work and sending hours, practicing hours, sending in tapes. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
recommend it, but that's a lot of work for sure.
Exactly. So it's a lot of optimism and hope in the very beginning, a lighter tone of voice. And you could see that he slowly evolves into somebody that sits more comfortably at my natural voice over the
Mhm.
course of the first season. And I think it was unique a unique challenge to bring that on screen because I haven't really had the chance to do that. I've gotten to do
Mhm.
characters that have two sides to them that are very apparent immediately, but I haven't had the opportunity to transition somebody from a very specific physical state in their lives to
Mhm.
something else that was different. So it's kind of a dream come true to get to do that so early on.
Yeah, and there are so many great protagonists across all anime. Like some of them have always been cool, like Kurosaki Ichigo or even Akami Light. Like they've always been the cool guys that everyone wants to talk to. And then you
Hmm.
have the ones that you're rooting for, and that's where all of your feelings go into, and that's where you want to fight for them, like Naruto, Tanjiro, even Asta from Black Clover as
Hmm.
well. I will put Jinwoo in the same
Yeah.
category of just trying to scrap it together. And,
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
has a proverbial dagger that they can never afford that will never protect us in these
Yeah.
streets. Like, there's so
Hmm.
much of rooting on Jinu's character. Was there any sort of pivotal moment? Because there are so many great moments in his character journey. Was there any sort of pivotal moment that was rewarding for you to bring that particular performance?
Yeah, I think it's got to be between the snake fight in episode 4, where he
Mhm.
finally musters up the courage to risk his own life again and put all of his fears behind him to take on this big challenge. Because that
Mhm.
speaks a lot to me, the ability to, put your self-doubt behind you for just a moment to fully believe in who you are, even though you in that moment you don't believe who you are, but you have to, and that was a really cool moment to see. And then also in episode 6 where he starts to realize the cruel reality of this world, which is very similar to our own world, is
Mhm.
people will do whatever it takes to come out on top, whether it's morally righteous or not. And for him to realize that he will be left behind if he doesn't look out for himself, and he has to start doing things that he wasn't comfortable with doing before for the sake of his own survival. It's kind of a flip on his self-sacrifice in episode 2, where he
Mhm.
chose other people over himself. It was really cool to see
Mhm.
him choose himself over others, even though we are taught that it's a selfish thing to do. It's very interesting to see a character who's willing to go there and do whatever it takes.
And he's been hard done by. Like Jenna been through it. Like
Oh no, he has.
he
So I
just
think
keeps
that's why it
trying to
feels,
like grow up.
yeah, it feels so satisfying to see him make these choices, even though they're not technically the correct choices. It's so satisfying to see him get his revenge, to see him uh, uh, get fueled by hate and spite and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's just an interesting arc to follow, I think.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, like that's I guess the untold story for those that aren't tapped into anime is like there is story there too. And there's so many satisfying moments in solo leveling in particular
Hmm.
with Juno's character. And I appreciate you painting that picture throughout season 1 because that needle drop of his voice, I know like I don't know where you were on the internet, but it was everywhere on our side of the internet.
I'm glad.
Um,
Yeah, that's what we were going for. So I'm glad people picked up and enjoyed that. So.
Yeah. And obviously we're not going to spoil the film or like coming into the new season. But even at the end of season 1, that is a delicious but also very frustrating sort of cliffhanger to be left on. But even from like we talked about the emotional journey, even from like a power journey, we see he's stacking on stacking on stacking him. We're all having reawakenings. We have the necromancy, he's building his shadow army. We got big man Igris in the
Hmm.
building. It's all happening there. In regards to, because it seems like you were very considered in how you map out the character journey and the performance that you bring to it, which is also a lot of love and praise to you again.
Thank you.
Um, does it feel like a daunting challenge, or is it an exciting opportunity to tap into what this newfound power is going to be?
I mean, sorry. I mean, it's got to be both, you know. It's always exciting to do something new. So I think from his perspective, he's excited at the prospect of what he's capable of.
Hmm.
But at the same time, you know, just like real life, even though we're excited for something, we can't let that blind us from the potential dangers or pitfalls of whatever challenge we're facing. So
Hmm.
we have to keep our excitement in check, but we also can't let our fears and anxiety overwhelm us. So we got to strike this very, very clean balance of just enough fear to be cautious, but also just enough excitement to be motivated to push forward. So just with his
Hmm.
powers, it's the same way I approach any exciting franchise or exciting, challenging roles, is that we just have to toe this line. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge for sure.
It is very exciting jumping point. That's for sure for the film and also for season two. A topic that we love talking about, especially in anime, is power hierarchy. We've already talked about the power in which we leave Jinwoo at the end of season one. Is anyone touching Jinwoo right now? Like, do you feel, and you can be as biased as you want, obviously, but where do
And
you think he is in regards to the power hierarchy? We have S ranks, etc., etc. Like, where do you think Jinwoo is?
I think he's aware of his own shortcomings right now because he is
Mhm.
very, very strong. But at the same time, he's aware that there's a lot of people out there who are way stronger than him. So,
Mhm.
and you can see that in his interactions in this season as well. But you will see that he's very cautious about who he
Mhm.
messes with. He is a little cocky and arrogant sometimes, but I think he's smarter than that. But right now, I think he sits comfortably at top five characters that we've seen so far. Not the
Okay.
top yet, but top five.
We're making our way to Jeju Island, that's for sure.
Yeah, right.
Well, I want to talk about guilds, like fantasy guilds right now. It doesn't have to be eight, it can be eight if you want. I have a couple of like rules though, if that's okay. Um, Characters across anime. You can only choose one character in each anime, and it also can't be the protagonist. You can't just choose Goku. Because you're the star, you're the protagonist.
Mhm.
If you were to build a guild, you're about to face, I guess, every level over 9,000 sort of monsters. Who's in your guild?
Oh man. Ooh, that's tough. I mean, from solo leveling, I think I would choose Chaheen, who's the girl with the blonde
Yeah,
hair.
got
She's
to.
very powerful and she's very cool. So from other shows, oof, I don't know. If we're going Dragon Ball, you got to go with either Vegeta, Vegeta or
Yeah.
Piccolo, and
Hmm.
got to get a healer in there somewhere. I can't rack my brain right now, but I guess if we're going Naruto, I feel like it would be cool just to have Sasuke in there because he's such an edge lord, and it would be fun to have more edge lords in the team. Like, why not, right? But
Yeah, exactly.
no, it's tough. It's tough. I am terrible at building teams, so whoever I choose, we'd probably barely scrape by anyways.
You're just gonna get it all together.
Right?
That's the
We
main thing, right?
that's the main thing is that we're just gonna be a team of people who are just trying to get it together. So
Do you do you envision a particular battle style for Jinnu? And do you think that has changed throughout season one?
a battle style?
Yeah, like he seemed a bit more scrappy at the start, but he feels a bit
Oh
more
yeah.
assured
Now
in
he's
how he's
he's
moving.
moving into more of a commander role, which is really, really cool for season
Hmm.
two. And so I'm excited to see how that plays out because one of the things I was looking forward to the most was seeing how he utilizes his shadow army.
Hmm.
And we get a taste of that in the first two episodes in theaters. So I'm so excited to see how they coordinate the action for these guys.
Hmm.
So that would be cool. That would be cool.
I want to thank you so much for your time. I will be wrapping up now with our final question.
For sure.
We finish off our reviews with a recommendation. So, what would you pair with Solo Leveling? Usually for films, I say a double feature, but as like a back-to-back sort of watching
Mm,
companion.
gosh, that's tough because you wouldn't want uh you wouldn't want two shows that are the same like heavy gritty tone. I would say right now
You
is
wouldn't want to race, for
yeah,
example.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You wouldn't want them to compete with each other. I would say right now, uh, shows that I've been enjoying, I've been watching Don to Don a lot, and that's another show
Oh, yes.
making an appearance on soon. I feel like that the fun, lighthearted action of that would pair really well with the intense, gritty action of Solo Leveling. So I feel like it's always a treat just seeing two great productions together. So
Mhm.
definitely my choice personally right now. Either that or
Those
you
are great.
watch a rom-com. Who knows?
Come watch Rent a Girlfriend with me, friends and lovers. What a great tasting menu. And just quickly, I made the mistake, I guess, mistake of telling a coworker about Dandadan. And then it started getting weirder, and I'm like, I need to avoid him now. Like, I need to not look at him anymore. But Alex, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.